The Daily Beast has an amazing story that explains how the Trump administration is sabotaging Obamacare. So take a look at this. Team Trump used Obamacare money to run PR effort against it. The administration is tasked with overseeing the healthcare law. Instead, it has made a major social media push to undermine it. Under Secretary Tom Price's stewardship, Health and Human Services has filmed and produced a series of testimonial videos featuring individuals claiming to have been harmed by Obamacare. Those viral videos have had decidedly limited reach, often gathering somewhere between 100 and 200 views each. That's so sad, but the department has made a heavy investment in them nonetheless. To date, it has released 23 videos. A source familiar with the video production says that there have been nearly 30 interviews conducted in total, from which more than 130 videos have been produced. Each testimonial has the same look, feel, and setting, with the subjects sitting before a gray backdrop and speaking directly to a camera about how Obamacare has harmed their lives. They were all shot at the State Department's internal studio, according to numerous sources who worked for or continue to work at Health and Human Services. Under the Obama administration, it was customary that such videos were recorded and edited by an outside contractor who then billed the department for its work. One former official said the contractor would charge roughly $550 an hour. Funding for those videos came from the department's Consumer Information and Outreach budget. The Trump administration has requested $574 million for that. Okay, so that last part that I just told you about, that's the funding source for this, and there's $574 million that's being used to fund stuff like this. I mean, that is a colossal, gigantic, gargantuan waste of money if I've ever seen one in my life. And it's also, I mean, what they're doing here is they're bending over backwards to not enforce the law. Because Obamacare is the law right now. I mean, you could disagree with it. That's fine. I disagree with it. I want Medicare for all. But it is the law. And the Health and Human Services Secretary is saying, yeah, let's do everything we can to not enforce the law. So under Obamacare, as they briefly alluded to here, the only way it works is if people know about it. They have to know about it. They have to understand what their options are. Now, some people are covered under the Medicaid expansion. Well, the Republicans are taking a sledgehammer to that. Other people are covered in the exchanges, which are the marketplaces. So you can, if you make a certain amount of money or less, you're subject to getting a subsidy to help pay for your health insurance. But this is part of the individual mandate. So the idea is, hey, the government is going to say you're legally required to get health insurance in the same way that, you know, you're required to get car insurance. So what they're doing, though, is instead of taking money that's used for advertising to people and basically telling them what their options are under Obamacare, they're taking that money and they're saying, now we're going to run a PR campaign against Obamacare. Okay, but like you can't do that. That's not part of the law. A part of the law is, oh, we're going to have to get the word out, and there's going to be a certain amount of money allocated to getting the word out, and people need to know their options, because the only way this works is if, you know, more and more people get involved. So they're undermining it and sabotaging it on purpose. And then, of course, I shouldn't even need to bring this part up. This should be a given, but nobody's fact-checking these stories. So a while ago, there was this story where it was another ad like this. I think it was an ad that was run by the Koch network, and, you know, they were trying to get elected a politician who is against Obamacare, and they were running horror stories about how the Democrat that was in office was for Obamacare, and you had these people who were like, oh, yeah, no, Obamacare was horrendous. I lost my health insurance, and, you know, I can't believe it ruined me, and now I have to pay so much more. And so, but fact checkers looked into that story and that individual who made those claims. Turns out it was total bullshit. they said they didn't actually try to get Obamacare, but they blamed Obamacare. So they got their catastrophic plan taken away because the catastrophic coverage is nothing but a big scam. You know, you're basically paying $100 a month, $150 a month, or whatever the case is, in order to appease the health insurance companies. And then when anything happens to you, they don't cover you unless you, like, are next to dead. They'll wiggle out of paying for anything. And then when they actually do pay for something, they'll hit you with, like, a $10,000 deductible. So it's just a scam. And they said, we're not going to allow you to do this kind of coverage when it's not coverage. So this person got that health insurance taken away from them. And they acted like, oh my God, now, you know, I don't have health insurance and Obamacare took it away from me. And if I were to get it, it'd be really expensive. Well, no, when you actually went and looked at the options that person would have had under Obamacare, they would have been paying about the same amount and getting a lot more things covered. So in other words, what the Republicans do is they go out there and find a bunch of ignoramuses who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're married to this belief that Obamacare is horrible, and that's going to be my position no matter what. It doesn't matter what evidence you show me. It doesn't matter what information's out there. I'm just going to say it's horrible. You're going to pick me, and I'm going to do a testimonial talking about how it ruined my life, even though it objectively did not ruin my life, and I didn't even look at all my options under Obamacare. So this is all they have, man. This is all the Republicans have. Because, I mean, they have to fudge the facts, because if they don't fudge the facts, what are they going to do? They're going to go out there and say, yeah, you know what? Obamacare is better than the bullshit we're proposing. The CBO keeps ripping to shreds every single version of Trump care you can imagine. I mean, $800 billion cut to Medicaid, gigantic tax cut for the rich. There's going to be another 20-some-odd million, either 28 million or 22 million, depending on which version you look at, more people uninsured under Trump care. So they have no positive argument to make for their piece of legislation. So what do? I don't know, attack the other guys, attack Obamacare. And then how do you do that? I don't know, this random dude who says he has a story about it that's bad, let's not fact check them and let's put them on camera and have them talk about how Obamacare ruined their life. So it is, I mean, they're so fucking gone, man. And let's be clear about something. To this idea that, well, Obamacare is massively unpopular, that's what it is, it's just so unpopular. That's actually not true. When you ask people broadly and generally, hey, what do you think of Obamacare? On that point, it varies. Sometimes it's 52% say, I don't like it, or 52% say, I'm in favor of it. It's a mixed bag. It's around 50-50 almost every time when you ask flat out about Obamacare. Now, when you don't say Obamacare and you say the Affordable Care Act, all of a sudden, the popularity of it increases. So in other words, you depoliticize it and make it sound something official, the Affordable Care Act, then they go, oh, I like that. So it's the same thing. But, you know, the official name is Affordable Care Act. More people say I like that. But then the most important fact, which is rarely discussed, is there's been polling done, I believe it was the Kaiser Family Foundation, where they asked about the specific provisions in Obamacare. Hey, what do you think about the Medicaid expansion? What do you think about the health insurance companies having to pay at least 80% of the money they take in towards actual health care? What do you think about people being covered under their parents' insurance until they're 26 years old, so on and so forth? When you ask it provision by provision, guess what? Virtually every provision of Obamacare is massively popular. The only one that's not is the individual mandate. Virtually every other one, incredibly popular. So these guys, they don't have real arguments, so they have to do bullshit, trickery, and deceit like this. They're taking the money that's allocated for making Obamacare function by getting out the word. They're taking that money and they're doing the exact opposite with it. Here, let's undercut it. Let's sabotage it. Let's run these bullshit testimonials that nobody's watching that say, oh, Obamacare is the worst thing ever. Anyway, now let's pass the worst legislation, Trump care. How about no? How about we get the facts right, which is, of course, Obamacare is better than the monstrosity that we call Trump care. And, oh yeah, the next step, of course, is Medicare for all, and we should go in that direction.